Hello everybody, my name is Shankarji. Now we'll be studying chapter 2 on the trail of the earliest people. Like you're going to find out about the earliest people, earliest human beings who lived on earth, our ancestors. How were they, what were they like, what were they doing most of the time in their lives, or what were they doing during the leisure times. Like I said, we're going to find out almost everything about them. So let's start with this concept. The earliest people, why were they on the move? Like, why were the earliest people always moving around? Like, we have our fixed houses, we have our concrete houses, we have well-built houses, and we normally stay in our houses all through our lives. We travel whenever we need to travel, but most of the time our location is fixed. We have a fixed address most of the time. However, the early human beings, they were always on the move. The earliest people, why were they on the move? Like they were hunters and gatherers, and they lived a nomadic life. We need to understand why they were always on the move, why they didn't have any fixed houses or locations like we have normally. First of all, for safety reasons, mainly from wild animals. Human beings long ago realized that they were very physically weak. Even though our mind, our brains are the best, it's the most superior organ compared to all other animals. Human beings realized that they were physically weak animals. So even though they were living in groups for safety, still it will be best for them to keep moving around after a particular period of time. For safety reasons, mainly from wild animals, they were on the move. They were moving from one place to another. As hunters and gatherers, as food resources ran out, they had to find new areas. Similarly, they would have eaten up all the plant and animal resources if they were stuck at one area. Plants and trees bear fruits in different seasons. So as one kind of plants and trees ran out of fruits or other kind of food, then what would they do naturally? They had to move to find different plants and different trees to find their food. What about availability of water, as water is life? Because we all need water and air. They are absolutely crucial for life. So no matter how much water was available at a particular period of time, suppose in the next season, maybe during summers or during extreme winters, if the water dried up or froze up, it would have been very difficult for them to use it. So that's why they had to keep moving. That's why they were on the move. So these are some of the reasons why the earliest people, our ancestors, were moving. They were nomads, they were hunters and gatherers, and they were always on the move. They didn't have fixed locations, they didn't have fixed dwelling locations or residential locations. However, they stayed in the caves, in the rock caves, they made some holes in the large trees. Maybe they stayed alongside rivers. They made some tents out of trees or trees and barks. So yes, I mean they lived for some time, but they were always on the move. They lived a nomadic life. They had temporary dwelling places. Then they kept moving after every periodic amount of time. How do we know about these people? Like we discussed earlier, through archaeologists and historians. We are thankful to the archaeologists and historians. We know about these people by what? By recorded data, which is known as history. That's what we are studying. We also come to know that early humans used stone tools for various applications. Nowadays, see, I am using these modern tools like marker and scale, ruler. Early human beings, they had to use stones. That was a very convenient option for them. They could break one large stone into small stone by using other stones, and then they learned to use stone tools for various applications. That was a remarkable thing which paved us for making further tools and right now modern tools. So early humans used stone tools for various applications, then wood tools, then metal tools, then alloy tools. Alloy is a combination of two or more metals to get the desired combination. Modern humans, including us, we use plastic tools, other tools. Apart from stone tools, all the tools are even now used, but stone tools, maybe they are used very rarely. Maybe when we are going outdoor trekking, or maybe we are just having fun, we still use the stone tools. That's fine. So in short, we as human beings, we are using all the tools, including modern tools. But early human beings, they mainly use stone tools, along with wood tools and metal tools, and sometimes alloy tools. We come to choosing a place to live in. Like, how did early human beings chose a place to live in? because they had to live in convenient areas like plains, grasslands, alongside rivers, maybe to some extent a little bit of mountainous areas, because even terrace farming can be done layer by layer. You can cut layer by layer and you can farm, step farming or terrace farming. So that's fine. Wherever it was convenient for them, early human beings settled over there. We will discuss about sites, like how will you define sites? Like it can be an archaeological site or it can be a historical site. So sites are places where remains of things were found. Like I said, if an archaeologist is walking here, if he or she finds plant or animal remains, then they excavate the site. So we will discuss about habitation. So habitation is the process of early human beings living in a particular environment. Like we are living in modern cities or villages, towns. So early human beings, they used to live along riversides, maybe in forests, a little bit of jungles, big jungles, maybe thick jungles, or maybe a little bit of grasslands, anywhere. So the place where early human beings used to live, that's called habitation, and they had certain habits according to the areas. That's why it's known as habits and habitation. So then now we'll discuss about discovery of fire and its uses. Discovery of fire is considered to be the greatest discovery of all time by humankind. Because fire is very useful. You can use fire for cooking and for various other purposes. Without fire, you can't imagine a life, a comfortable life. And then the earth's environment during early humans was constantly changing, and they had to adapt to that fast in order to survive and thrive. Because even now the earth's climate is very dynamic, but at that time during early human beings, they were really helpless against the environment and climate. So they really had to adapt to the fast changing environment. So sometimes it was very dry, sometimes it was very wet, sometimes it was very cold, sometimes it was very hot. It was extremes. I mean, we should be very thankful, and we should really admire the brilliant efforts of our early ancestors, early humans. That's why they survived. Then that's the reason why we are surviving and we are alive. During their leisure times, early human beings drew rock paintings. They took the tools. They had fun drawing some rock paintings of animals and the other human beings, some funny figures on rocks. So we still have certain world UNESCO heritage sites which are still preserved, which was done by early human beings thousands of years ago. For example, the Hunsgi site. So find more about the Hunsgi site. You can do some Google search and you can have fun finding about more about the Hunsgi site, where it is, how old it is, like that. And you also have one world famous Lascaux caves in France, which is about 15,000 to 17,000 years old. So it's a wonderful site. Only with authorized permission you can go there and you can visit the site, because it is slowly degrading as per the Earth's environment, because it has been for more than 17,000 years right now. So the UNESCO has taken measurements to carefully preserve it, so it can still preserve for another thousands of years to come. So that's why only very few people are allowed over there with authorized permission for study purposes, for research purposes. Even general tourists are also not allowed, maybe from a distance, but not exactly to the site. So it's a very highly restricted area. So, but it's fun because it's one of the greatest proofs of art from early human beings. We will discuss some important dates in the course of the earliest people, or during history, because we are studying history. We will discuss something known as the Paleolithic period. The Paleolithic period was the period more than 12,000 years ago. Then we come to the Mesolithic period. It's also part of the prehistory, but slightly it comes to the history. It's around from the Mesolithic period ranges from 12,000 years to 10,000 years ago. Then we come to the history period, the Neolithic period in which we are living from approximately 10,000 years ago till now. We are under the Neolithic period, also known as the historical period. So we are under history right now. We are also being recorded, our existence also being recorded in history. Early human beings, they also made weapons called microliths. Microliths are defined as minute shaped flint which were part of weapons like spears. So they were very useful and very sharp weapons. So microliths were a real achievement regarding early human beings, our earliest ancestors. So we discussed about microliths. This chapter on the trail of the earliest people is really fascinating. We really got to know our early ancestors. Like I said, we did some time travel by discussing these wonderful concepts. Do some further research and have fun. And if you have any doubts or suggestions, please let us know in the comment section below. Thank you so much. Have a great day.